As all you beautiful individuals already know, this whole corona situation has really kind of messed with everyone's lives in some way, shape, or form. And one of the worst things it has done is take away sports from us. And now, with the NFL season literally about a month away, well, start of preseason, the NFL season could very well be in jeopardy despite the MLB starting up here like in a couple weeks and the NBA like in 3 weeks. So, even though they're starting up, it doesn't mean the NFL is going to start up as well. I mean, as of now, everything is going according to plan for the most part, but there is rumors that the preseason is going to be canceled. Now, okay, man, here's the thing, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys can agree with me as well. Preseason is really boring to watch. I mean, after the preseason starts, the first game starts, yay, it's so fun. Football's back. But then you remember, oh man, preseason, yeah, this is boring. I think the only fun one to watch is the first one for like about 10 minutes. And then the third one where it's the dress rehearsal where starters play almost a whole half. But even then, like, you got some players like the J.J. Watt sitting out for most of the preseason. So you don't get to watch all the players. But, we as fans, most of us, do not like preseason. And players, established players like the Tom Brady's, the J.J. Watts, the Aaron Rodgers, the Russell Wilsons, they don't need to play preseason. They don't need it, and they probably don't care if they cancel preseason. They're probably happy if they cancel preseason. But here's the thing. It's not just about the star players. It's not even about the other players that are going to make the roster guaranteed. Like a guy like Charles Omenihu, Will Fuller. Shout out to Charles Omenihu, by the way. He let me join this Madden league. What a lad. Anyway, though, those guys are guaranteed to make the roster as well. They might not be star players yet, but they're guaranteed to make the team. But if they cancel preseason, it sucks for players like Scotty Phillips. I know a lot of you guys are really high on him. A guy that's on the bubble, a DeAndre Carter, Carlos Watkins, or, just a guy who's trying to be the next Tony Romo, the next Arian Foster, undrafted player going from nothing to a superstar player. It sucks for those guys because even though we don't enjoy watching preseason football, or at least most of us, even though the J.J. Watts, the Aaron Donalds of football don't really like playing in preseason, but for these guys, these younger guys that are trying to make a roster, trying to make a name for themselves, well, this sucks, man. And there's even been reports that the NFL might require teams to carry less than 90 players into preseason, if preseason even happens. So, right off the bat, they're eliminating, a good chunk of players. Going from 90 to, say, 75, that's 15 players right there that don't get a shot. They'll have to wait till next year, and, next year might not even happen for them because, there's going to be some new rookies to test out, so it's going to suck. And, apparently they already canceled the first and fourth preseason game as well, and that's making things worse for the rookies again. Even if they don't cancel preseason as a whole, the first and fourth game are gone, and the fourth game is really the game where, the rookies have the last shot, or the young players have a last shot to make the roster. So that's really unfortunate for them. And, not only that, a lot of teams like the Texans, the Patriots, and a lot of other teams out there in the NFL, they like to do joint practices. Joint practices are when two teams practice together, and a lot of coaches seem to believe that that's a better way to really see where your team is at and especially for the young players because they're going up against another team, for a whole week in practice. So you really get to get a feel for them, and not just your young players, but your star players as well. But guess what? With this whole situation going around, this whole pandemic thingy, the NFL said you can't have joint practices this season. So, yeah, that's kind of sucks for teams that like to do joint practices and rely on joint practices to, I guess, round out their roster. So all around, this whole situation is just not good. And personally, I think the NFL should push the season back. I think they should push it back because, the Ravens already said this. The Ravens said that they're only allowing 14,000 fans to enter the stadium. Their max capacity is like 70,000, so that's only a fraction of the size. And I'm sure other teams are also going to come out with the same thing. If you're a Chargers fan, you'll probably be fine. You're probably going to be the only one there because the Chargers don't have any fans in LA. So if you're a Chargers fan, don't worry. But for the other 31 teams, that's going to suck. But a lot of teams already came out and said that they're refunding tickets for this year, and for all the season ticket holders, they won't lose their place in the 2021 season. So I guess the teams are doing right to the fans. But here's the thing. They're not doing right to the players, because what the NFL wants to do, since there's a good chance there's going to be a loss of revenue this season, with smaller capacities of stadiums and stuff, and, probably no preseason, they want to take a fraction of the players' pay. I think it was 35%. So they're going to hold 35% to kind of make up for the loss in revenue. And I think that's kind of messed up, man. I don't agree with that one bit because, look, these players, 53 guys, are making a team. And these guys are kind of exposing themselves to this pandemic, to this, Rona, whatever you want to call it. They're exposing themselves just for our entertainment. You think about it, that don't sit right with me. Like, these guys are out there, risking their health. On top of already playing football, which is kind of considered a dangerous sport. So on top of that, they're risking their health, and you want to take away money from them? Nah, that just don't sit right with me. That's why I think the NFL should push the season back into October. Now, obviously, this will definitely affect some things. Like, for example, a week 7 game might be a snow game, and usually a week 7 game is like a nice and sunny game, but that's fine. It's cool. It's going to make things interesting. And obviously, the Super Bowl would probably end up being played like in March, but then you could cancel the Pro Bowl. Because, let's be real, who in the world cares about the Pro Bowl? So just cancel the Pro Bowl and, just play the Super Bowl like late March, I guess, if you have to. Because I would so much rather them push the whole NFL season back and not have rookies be screwed over by not playing preseason, and not have the players screwed over by taking 35% of their pay away. And let's be honest, man. Let's be honest. And Michael Thomas already said, hell nah. A lot of these players aren't going to play if they take away a good chunk of their money away. They're just not. Like I said, they're exposing themselves to that disease on top of playing an already dangerous sport. So, yeah, I'm just push it back. And believe me, I want the football season to happen, but the way things kind of are right now, and here in the U.S., things aren't getting any better, man. I know in other places, the corona's kind of gone, reduced to atoms, but not here. I think things are kind of getting worse here. If you look at the numbers, they're getting worse. More people are getting infected. And with training camp starting in 2.5 weeks, yeah, you already know it's gonna happen. There's 90 players there, maybe 75, maybe I don't know, maybe a little bit more, but who knows? There's gonna be a bunch of players there. Is my point. Like, what happens if some guy shows up with the coronavirus and that player has to get quarantined, and then they gotta test the whole team, and then it turns out 4 more players are quarantined. And yeah, it's just gonna be a whole mess. And then imagine if it happens in the regular season. The dudes are gonna have to miss 2 weeks. Imagine if you're a Chiefs fan. You're a Chiefs fan, Patrick Mahomes goes to a restaurant, orders a steak, and then ruins it with ketchup. But in the process of doing that, he gets the coronavirus. And then Patrick Mahomes is forced to miss 2 games because it's 2 weeks of quarantine. Chiefs fans aren't going to like that. I know I wouldn't like if Deshaun sat out 2 games. I know Rams fans wouldn't like if Aaron Donald sat out 2 games. Or, Saints fans if Drew Brees sat out 2 games. But I will say this, I'm pretty sure Bills fans should be ecstatic if Josh Allen was forced to sit out 2 games because the dude is trash. Anyways, even if the players don't have the symptoms, they still have it. So even if Patrick Mahomes isn't sick and all that, they're still going to quarantine him. So I'm pretty sure you guys do not want one of your favorite players missing a game. And like I said, if one of them has it, there's a good chance that 14 other players on the team have it. So you just don't want that. So that's why I'm just saying push the season back into October. Now, keep in mind, if they do push the season back until October, the season will end like in March. And, that would really mess with the scouting combine and the draft and free agency. But that's okay. You know why? Because I would rather keep my players healthy. Like, if John Weeks got the coronavirus, I know he'd be fine because he's a stud. But I'd be upset because he goes out there, exposes himself just for my entertainment, like that doesn't sit right with me. And then, it also be good for the younger players that are trying to make a name for themselves. And the players also don't, get a pay reduction, even though they probably wouldn't agree with that. But still, though, that kind of just goes out the window, so that's good for them. And then the fans can go watch the games and all that and have a good time. I just think it's just a better idea to push the season back into October and just see what happens. Like, anything can happen. Like, maybe the coronavirus by then would be gone, reduced to atoms, or maybe Yellowstone volcano finally erupts and wipes us all out, because that is going to happen. If you don't believe me, Google Yellowstone volcano. It'll freak you out. And yeah. Anyway, so that's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment your opinion on what you think about this. Should we start the season on time as planned, or should we just push it back? And yeah, be sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.